Hey guys, Trainer DC here, coming at you with another video. We have yet another Pokemon Winds and Waves leak. I'm telling you guys, by the time we get to this next trailer on Pokemon Day of next year, we're gonna know more about this game than Game Freak wants us to know about. Like, we're getting a lot of information, and today's information details the story of Winds and Waves, as well as the anime that's going to be tied into it, that apparently is going to serve as a prequel to the games, which is something we've never seen before. So without further ado, let's get into this. This information is all coming from Central Leaks on Twitter, and they're quoting Moot here. Apparently Moot is the source, and Moot, if you don't know, is someone in the leak community who has a hit or miss track record, so take this with a grain of salt, but their source is someone on the anime team. The first thing we have here is the story of Pokemon Winds and Waves is related to time travel, and I hope this isn't the case, because we've had time travel explored before in the Pokemon franchise like 3 other times. Like Gen 4, Diamond and Pearl are space and time with Dialga and Palkia. It doesn't really involve time travel, but that's the first time we've really dived into space and time outside of, technically, I guess Celebi was the first time we've had a time traveling Pokemon. But within the Switch era of Pokemon, we did time travel in Pokemon Legends Arceus. We did Scarlet and Violet, which was themed around time travel. We had one version in the past and one version in the future. You know, Paradox Pokemon from the past, Paradox Pokemon from the future. Are we really going to do that again now in Pokemon Winds and Waves? The one thing I'll say about this is I've noticed with Pokemon when they've touched on the theme of time, they've only kind of dipped their toes into the water without diving headfirst into time travel. Like in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, yes, there's past Pokemon, there's future Pokemon, but we don't actually get to time travel. Yes, it's a loose theme of the game, but it's not really directly touched on or delved into all that much. With Pokemon Legends Arceus, yeah, we're going back to the past like Samurai Jack, you know, going from modern day, you know, Sinnoh, modern day Pokemon society back in time to Legends Arceus in the Hisui region. That's the closest we've had to time travel in a Pokemon game, because we're not actually going back and forth in time. It's just, oh, apparently we came from the future. And then with Diamond and Pearl, obviously it's just about space and time. There's no time travel involved there. And with Pokemon Gold and Silver, with Celebi, yeah, Celebi is a time travel Pokemon, but we don't actually time travel in the game. So I'm kind of tired of them retreading water here with time travel. And if you're gonna do it, just do it. Like, rip the band-aid off. Let's go back in time. Let's go to the future. Let's go to the present. Let's have a game take place in multiple eras. Stop doing these games around time travel that don't actually involve time travel. That's a little side tangent here, but apparently there will be a prequel anime to the game similar to Pokemon Twilight Wings, which will tell the backstory of the professor and champion. The professor is 14 years old while the champion is 20 years old. So apparently this anime that we're going to get tied into Winds and Waves is going to take place before the game's Winds and Waves, and is going to follow the professor and the champion, I guess, journeying throughout the region. And this seems like a really interesting idea. This is something we've never seen before, and I think it'd be really cool to explore something like this. I've said in some videos lately that I really love the evolution of the Pokemon franchise and the Pokemon world, in that Pokemon itself is about exploration and discovery, and we never really got to see the world of Pokemon evolve over time outside of Legends Arceus, right? Legends Arceus to Diamond and Pearl is the only instance where we've gotten to explore a region of Pokemon in the past and then in the present. We haven't gotten to explore really regions of Pokemon in the future, which is something that I want to see. I want to see, how does the Kanto region evolve over the next 100 years? How does the Alola region evolve over the next 200 years? That's something we really haven't seen in Pokemon, and this is an opportunity for them to show us that. Apparently at the end of the series, 30 years before the events of the games, the professor will be sent back in time. That's where the time travel comes in here, and then when we meet him in the games, he's actually older than the champions. So apparently this anime is going to be following the professor, the champion, and this girl that they're traveling with throughout the region. Some events are going to happen in this game that somehow the professor gets taken from the present and thrown back to the past. And then when we have the actual events of Winds and Waves take place, he's going to be much older than his friend in the champion, who initially was 6 years older than him, because the professor is 14 and the champion is 20, but he gets sent back in time. We don't know exactly how long, but it can't be too long given that, you know, he's still alive during the time of the games, which the games take place apparently 30 years after this anime. So he's going to be an old man, where maybe the professor is like a 50-year-old, and maybe their female friend is in her 50s or 40s as well. I find this to be really interesting for a Pokemon anime, because it's something that we've never seen before. Again, the anime has never really directly tied into the games in any capacity. The anime has always been this kind of side project, if you will, separate from the games, where it's on a parallel path to the games, but it involves different characters and different events. Like, yes, you're going to have the same type of climactic battle between the evil team, Ash, and whoever the legendary Pokemon are in that region, but it's not going to be the same one-to-one representation of what happens in the games. Obviously, the characters in the games are often different from the characters in the anime. Like, yes, the characters in the games cross over to the animes, but not the protagonist. We usually follow a different group of protagonists in the anime than we do the game. So that's really interesting there. The other thing we have here is actually tying into Pokemon movies. And this is something that I've been talking about with a friend recently, how it's really strange how we went from having a Pokemon movie every single year when we were growing up to then not having any movies for a while now. The last Pokemon movie we had was the Zarude movie, which I haven't even seen. The Pokemon movies have had a bit of a weird timeline because they were serving as a way to introduce a brand new mythical Pokemon to us every single year. But then when we got to Sun and Moon, instead of continuing that trend, they decided to kind of reboot the whole thing with I Choose You. Then we had the Power of Us. Then we had the weird CGI Mewtwo remake. And then we got the Zarude movie, which again, the name is escaping me, something with the jungle. But apparently, according to Moot Monthly, we have a new Pokemon movie coming next year, and it's going to be based on the TCG, which is really interesting. I didn't even mention here the whole Pokemon Detective Pikachu movie, which that was a fun movie, but I always found it so odd that that was the first live action Pokemon film they made. And I find it even more strange that that movie, came out in like 2019 and we haven't had another theatrical Pokemon film release since then. It's very odd to me that for some reason Pokemon movies have just kind of died out, the anime movies and also these live action ones. I thought they were going to try to establish a bigger cinematic universe for Pokemon with these live action films. I mean, there was rumors of a live action Netflix show, but that went nowhere. So it is interesting to see that we are getting a new movie next year based on the TCG, and I'm very curious what form this is going to take. Is it going to be an animated film where, we have these kids playing the TCG in some sort of tournament? Is it going to be a live action film celebrating the TCG and maybe having us go on this adventure where we're trying to become the best, player in the world? I'm very curious to see what that turns into, but by far the most interesting thing we have from today is the fact that apparently Pokemon Winds and Waves is going to once again delve into the idea of time travel, which, like I said at the earlier points of this video, I'm kind of tired of Pokemon retreading that topic. Like, we've done it before, we've tipped our toes into the water without fully diving headfirst. Let's do something else within this franchise that doesn't involve time travel. Let's do something else that hasn't been done before to make this game more and more unique and something we haven't experienced before. But again, that seems to be the path they're going down. But I will say, I saw on Reddit, and I don't remember who exactly said this, but someone on Reddit reposted a tweet from someone saying that this information is, I believe, from 2022, that it's outdated at this point and most likely has been changed. So we have to take this all with a grain of salt. But the thing that I do hope here is true is the fact that the anime is going to serve as a prequel to the games. This is something that they really haven't done before. I know he mentions Pokemon Twilight Wings here. I mean, Pokemon Twilight Wings, while yes, it was an animated project, it wasn't the main anime for that generation. So I think this would be rather fascinating to see a full-on anime for a generation of Pokemon that is serving as a prequel to the games. That will be so cool to see how things develop in that anime and what exactly happens that the professor supposedly gets sent back in time again, assuming that all stays the same. Anyways, let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about all of this. What do you guys think about this new leak that we have here for Pokemon Winds and Waves? Do you like the idea of exploring time travel once again? Or are you like me and you're kind of tired of the Pokemon Company diving down that topic? Let's do something different within this franchise. What do you think about the anime serving as a prequel to the game? Something we really haven't seen before. And lastly, how do you feel about the fact that we're going to get a new Pokemon movie supposedly next year, but it's going to be based on the TCG of all things? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from Trainer DC. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.